What's up, guys?
Oh, are we recording already? Shit.
Yeah.
Oh.
I got a question, though.
Oh, okay.
Specifically for Emil.
Oh.
No.
Are you ready to invest yet? Yeet! Jey Uso has won the Intercontinental Championship, dude. We all were fucking dead wrong. Well, not me. I didn't actually put out a prediction, but you two fuckers were dead wrong. Dead wrong. Jey Uso has defeated Bronathan Breakker and has won the Intercontinental title.
He's going to lose it back in like a month.
Meh.
I honestly don't know if he is. Welcome to Vacant Wrestling Podcast. My name is Tyler. We got a I was gonna say jam-packed episode, but it's more so what we're gonna talk about after this, because we're gonna chat about the Mr. McMahon documentary that dropped on Netflix. So if you're listening to the pod right now, go to our YouTube channel, go check those out. They're gonna be up there as separate bonus episodes for you to go check out. So go enjoy those. But joining me today, as usual, are my two best friends. Yusuf, what's up, man?
Aw, what? Yeah, what up?
And Emil, what's good, bro?
I already asked if I could get a yurt, so I'm not going to ask again.
No, okay.
But we weren't recording at the time, so yurt. Y'all, how we feeling about this? How we feel? First off, the match was great. I just got to say that. The match was great for a main event of Raw. It felt throughout the show, they built it up like it was a PLE. They kept, like, throughout the night showing, like, video packages that felt very much like the Peacock PLEs. They had the whole celebration at the end that got cut off because USA are bums and they didn't get the overrun programmed in. And Jey fucked up the pyro at the end. But I will say both of these guys had their best match of their careers, I think, in this match. What say y'all?
It's cool. It's a Monday night. I was kind of in and out. This is the point of the night where I start becoming in and out of Raw because 3 hours is just too long. And 3 hours is just not happening for me. I have to be up early, so no. But from what I did see, fantastic. Good for Jey. This confuses me with the story, but that's okay. The story we'll talk about when we get to SmackDown.
We will talk about that story. I'm almost doubting that is the story at this point, and I really hope that isn't the case. But the closer we get, the more I'm thinking it's not actually going to be the story. But Yusuf, let's get you in the mix, bro. What you think?
Well, it was the only thing I caught of Raw because I got home late from a rehearsal, as we do with being gigging musicians. Hey, you know what? I'm happy for Jey. As dead wrong as we were not 3 hours prior or 4 hours prior to that. At the end of the day, like, look, good for him. He gets it's his first singles title. That's insane. Like, that's actually crazy to me. I like the fact that they hyped it up throughout the show. Like, I like how they were like, really building to it throughout Monday Night Raw. And, yeah, cool. Jey wins the belt. Braun, I said he's going to win it back. He probably either doesn't, or I said he's going to go on a world title chase. So, Gunther, watch out. A Steiner is coming.
Did the result surprise any of you guys?
A little bit.
I was surprised. I was fully surprised.
A little bit.
I was fully surprised.
I think they need these moments few and far between. This is really Jey Uso's thank you for working so hard and thank you for being patient.
Yep.
Belt. Like if you want to do the break the kayfabe a little bit. That's what this is. This is really a thank you for all of your hard work and for continuing to stay over, even when majority of fans knew that or thought they knew that he wasn't winning that. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I'd say it did multiple things. I'd say to that end, like you said, it thanked Jey for his service. He had a lot of hard work and a lot of matches where a lot of people thought he was the right call and they went a different direction with it, and it angered a lot of fans. I think specifically Money in the Bank was the biggest one, but there are definitely others as well. I think it also helps to build intrigue to Monday Night Raw as a whole. Going into the Netflix era, we're trying to bolster the stock of these shows, Raw and SmackDown, as much as we can. So to have big matches with high stakes that have these must-see main events that they build to throughout the night, I think that's great. And I think the shock title change is exactly what you need to show, hey, come to Raw, buy tickets when we're in your area, turn it on Mondays, because you never know what's going to happen. You might wake up the next day and on Tuesday morning and find out, hey, we have a new Intercontinental Champion, just like the majority of fans did. I thought the moment was absolutely great for Jey. I thought the moment was good for Braun as well. I think, like I said, both of them had the best matches they could have turned out, and it was on Raw. And I will say the match, I think, had a lot more weight to it, and the moment was a lot stronger, being the closing main event of Raw rather than what probably would have been, let's face it, the opening or the middle of Bad Blood if it was on the pay-per-view. So it also keeps the pay-per-view stock high as well because it's the best of the best matches, and it keeps the TV very, very must-see and must-watch. And I think that's one of the biggest highlights for me of the new era is the selectiveness of what's on a pay-per-view that allows that to be a peak piece of wrestling art, and then also the TV being the same thing.
I think at the end of the day, it does a few things. Obviously, the big one is thanking Jey Uso for everything he's done for the company, especially recently. The other thing it does is it helps solidify the case of Braun Breaker being a main eventer on Monday Night Raw. You know? Like, the thing, we saw this with NXT, and we talked about this when he was getting called up and when he was starting his run in the main roster. This guy is a main eventer. Like, he's got the look, he's got the talk, he's got the moves, he's got everything, right? He's the whole package. So, having a moment like this where I think he's had a couple main events so far, right? I've honestly lost track about how he's been on Raw, but having a main event match like this with his title on the line, he doesn't look like a chump, which is the biggest part about this, right? He has a great match with Jey, doesn't look like a chump anywhere throughout the match. This is really helping the case for the future of Braun Breaker and his stock in the company of being of being a weekly main eventer, eventually being a PLE main eventer, eventually a Big Four, eventually a Mania main eventer. It does a really great job for Braun Breaker.
It very much does. And coming out. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
This is also really good for the Triple H era of booking. We're starting to hit the point of complacency in fans because we're starting to see and know who his people are, who he wants, who he's going to push, who's taking WWE forward. Jey Uso is not taking WWE forward. I think we can all still admit that. I don't think there's any heights that Jey Uso is going to make it reach that it wasn't already there. I don't think that's a stretch. He's also 38, 39. He's not young. Just because, 40 is the new 30 around here. He is not young. So there is that as well. So the point though of my whole point though was with complacency is this does still keep things must watch, as Tyler said, because you can't put all these title matches on cards on Raw and on SmackDown and not start flipping them around a little bit. Like you have to, or we're gonna tap out. Just because we see that there's an Intercontinental title match doesn't mean we're gonna tap in because we know it's gonna happen. We can't do that. And as again, Tyler brought up a good point of how this bolsters PLEs because this is the best that we can put on Raw because PLEs are the best we can put on both shows, and the best we can put on both shows is apparently 2 matches each.
Well said. And I will say, coming out of this as well, there are rumors that Braun is geared up for a face turn coming out of this, and I'm almost willing to believe it.
Pass.
I've been seeing. Wow, really? He's already a face.
That's okay.
He goes out into these arenas and you hear the hoo hoo hoo. You hear the dogs barking, man.
That's because it's memeing.
He's also. It's not memeing though. Oh, I'm blurring. Okay, my camera. Great. Well, there's also when he cuts promos now. Recently, he's been saying, "Where my dogs at?" in whatever city he's in. And the fans bark with it. Like, that's face behavior. That is baby face behavior.
Everybody has something. Technically, Seth Rollins is still a heel.
Acknowledging the fans? I know.
Seth Rollins is still a heel, and he goes and he does all his thing. Roman Reigns is not a face yet, and he still did his thing.
I would say that's a very face-like behavior, though.
Everybody has their insert name of city here catchphrase. Everybody has it. Punk has it. Isn't it great to be in a Monday night and whatever? Cody has it with what do we want to talk about? Fucking Roman has it with acknowledge me.
You're listing every person that has a positive crowd reaction and that fights heels.
I'm listing people who are also possible heels, who are in storyline technically a heel.
Braun can technically be a heel. Kind of be a heel. He's been a heel.
Braun,
there's a possibility.
No one's a heel.
Not this conversation.
Heels aren't
Not
real.
this conversation.
Heels aren't real. Braun Breaker.
I believe you. I'm with you with that argument, by the way. Now, but anyway, sorry.
No,
go ahead.
no. You know what? He does bring up a very good point.
For the record, for people who don't know the lore and history of this podcast, it's not only 20 episodes or 19 episodes that we're on. It's a
long time.
It's been 6 years on and off that we've been doing this.
6 years that I've been trying to prove to him that heels don't matter in the modern age. Thank you.
Yeah, pretty much. One thing I was gonna say though is, yeah, everyone's kind of got their thing, and even with heels, like, yeah, every heel's got something, right? Look at this smug motherfucker who's fucking Eric Bischoff
There's
looking
caveats.
just.
There's caveats to
No,
that
there are
point.
caveats. There
but
absolutely are.
I'm with you,
Absolutely
Emil.
are
There
I
are.
caveats.
know, but
Yeah.
that's not
Yeah.
fun.
But
Shut
at the
up.
same time, it's like, yeah. It's really how Braun is playing into the crowd. It's more, you look at it as, never mind, like, if you ignore the whole face heel thing, if you look at him just as a character, the character of Braun Breaker doesn't necessarily feel like he should be someone that's pandering to the crowd. He's like a Goldberg. He's like what happened if Goldberg and the Steiner brothers had like a child. Well, ironically, because he is a Steiner. Because like he's got that whole Goldberg demeanor: show up, kill, leave. Right. Kill more, possibly. Insert thing here. Idea. Boom. Die. And then he talks. The bright side is that character of Braun Breaker, this like Goldberg and Scott Steiner thing, um, is very good at pandering to the crowd. He's very good at observing how the crowd thinks of him. And I think that's a big part of, or how do I put this? It's a big part of what helps his character. The reason I say that is because, he gets out there, right? He's doing a match. He's lining up for that spear, or he does that fucking ridiculous. I love these camera shots when he does the spear outside the ring when he does a full lap and then just rams the guy. He's getting that crowd hyped up, right? He's getting the dogs barking. He's getting them going, and that's part of the character. That's part of Braun Breaker. Despite being a heel, he's getting the crowd to hype him up. The crowd is all in on Braun Breaker, just going for it, right? It's
because it's cool.
It is, and I think it's a testament in that heels, yes, are still able to pander to the crowd in that way, not necessarily acknowledging them, verbally, but just finding ways to feed off of the crowd for what they're gonna do.
Exactly.
There are heels that want people to be on their side too. That's different.
That's a different thing.
Well, no, that's a heelism though. Like heels want that. Heels have big they're wrestlers. They're pro wrestlers. Everyone's got a big ego, and the heels want people on their side. You know what I mean? Some of them do. Some of them are like, yeah, fuck you, but they want their admiration.
No.
I will say, my favorite Yusufism is the extensive knowledge of the Steiner lore. I think that's probably my favorite Yusufism. I feel like every week you go on a rant-ish, a mini rant about Steiners once a week.
All I'm gonna say is that we're dogs here. We're the dogs.
And I will say, like, Braun Breaker, I love Braun Breaker as a character. I really do. It's just, it doesn't help. Again, I know he's Rick's kid, obviously, right? It does not help that he looks like exactly like his dad, like a spitting younger image of his father, and he sounds like Scott. It doesn't help him at all. So I have to keep bringing this up because eventually, one day, he will play into it. He will play into the fact that he, at the end of the day, no matter the Braun Breaker and everything else, he's a Steiner.
I mean, bro's got the Steiner math singlet too.
That's
with the numbers on it.
He did do some math in a promo.
He did do some math in a promo.
Let's take it all the way back to his very beginning on WWE television. He was a babyface.
I know. I was going to bring up that point too. I was going to bring up that point too. His NXT run absolutely was a babyface.
The question of whether it was good is out for debate. I personally liked it, but I think it was just a little too fast that they pushed him. But he ended up, luckily, taking it in stride and doing a lot with it. So, but I would say that overall, the Intercontinental title reign he had was not amazing, but it didn't have to be, I think. We were coming off of this high. It wasn't meant for that. No, we were coming off this high of Gunther, obviously, and then Sami Zayn. And Sami had a pretty solid reign. And once Braun won, I didn't care whether it was long or short. I just thought it was a situation where the title made the man, not a situation where the man made the title. So I think that it added to Braun's stock. And now Braun has something to fight for, to get the title back. And I think that from here, do I think Braun's going to get the title back fast? Maybe. But I also think there's a separate side quest that Jay's been on recently that could lead to his next, his opponent that he'll drop the Intercontinental Championship to. And that's within the ranks of the Judgment Day. I think...
Oh, wait, my bad.
Nah, man. I think Dirty Dom could be taking this belt.
Speaking of Dirty Dom, we had the best.
No, wait, please.
No,
please.
I'm doing
please.
this.
No, please. It's my thing.
It has to be Tyler.
This is
it's
my
Tyler's
thing. Y'all, we're going back to our roots with this episode. We already brought up the last point about the face heel dynamic in wrestling, but now we're bringing up my favorite VWP lore, and that is shark cages, bitches. We got a shark cage at Bad Blood. Rhea versus Liv with Dom in a shark cage. Adam Pearce, last week I might have shit on you, but this week you are my favorite GM in all of wrestling. I love you. I could kiss you on the mouth. Oh my God.
Adam Pearce has he's fighting for that GM spot hard, man.
Mm-hmm.
He wants that pop. He wants that pop. I'm popping. We're here.
Two things I love about this whole thing. Number one is Tyler was so happy. Truly, he was like ecstatic when they announced that it was going to be a shark cage.
It used to be an ironic love. Now it's unironic as fuck. Like give me all the shark cages.
The VWP lore was that like there was always a bit at some point where Tyler would be like, "That should be in a shark cage," and we're like, "Tyler, shut the fuck up now."
To be fair, we potted in an era where every big match seemed to have a shark cage in it.
Yeah.
I remember the Enzo one in particular when they had Enzo in the shark cage. Yeah, man, it was Big Show and Big Cass.
Yeah, and Enzo like slips out of the cage. Yeah.
So much who?
Big Bill, Big Cass.
You right.
And Enzo.
You right.
Enzo.
Who? But you know, that was one thing. The other thing is
Liv.
I was watching the segment. And I love that when Rhea's like, Dom, you're gonna be behind bars, and you can see him being like, "Am I going back to prison?
I can't go back there. I can't go back."
And then they announced that he was gonna be in a shark cage hanging from the ring, and sometimes I hate the IWC, but in this moment I was like, thank God you exist, because within about 5 minutes of that promo happening and then Raw going to commercial, someone photoshopped the original Custody of Dominic ladder match promo or match card with Rhea and Liv with just an older Dominic Mysterio. And I was like, here we go again.
Wrestling is back, baby.
Wrestling's back.
This is what we should have gotten at SummerSlam.
We should have, really.
Nah.
TBH.
It would have been 19 years since SummerSlam 05 that we have another Custody of Dominic ladder match. You know how that would have been funny?
I think the main reason why it couldn't have happened is
fine. Everybody was hurt, and we needed to make the story story needed to like sequentially move forward. I get it. I know.
And the logistics, you can't hang Dominic from the outdoor canopy at SummerSlam, you know.
Okay, why not? We can hang a Hell in the Cell up there. You're telling me we can't hang a shark cage? It's
right,
lighter.
right, because it's a person. That's a person. That's a person.
It has to be lighter than a cell.
I would trust a person up there more than a cell.
You can't. You telling me
a cell up there more than a person.
You're telling me
you're telling me the Hell in the Cell doesn't weigh more than Dom and a shark cage combined?
That's
Dom at about 200 pounds, and the shark cage also probably at about 200 pounds.
If the cell were to fall, it would fall just as it falls around the ring. If a person falls from that, that's not good. No bueno.
Okay.
No bueno.
They could find something else.
That's dirty.
Enzo jumped.
Yeah.
So
no, I'm saying if like something, not God forbid, anything tragic could happen, you know?
They don't have to necessarily suspend the cage. They can put it on a scaffolding. I'm being dead
serious. That's the thing.
Put it on
the cage on the scaffolding.
I know.
What a waste, man.
Listen. We got everything at Bad Blood. We got Hell in a Cell. We got shark cages.
I understand.
Oh man.
I understand why we're here. I wish we had it 2 months ago, but it's fine. Whatever.
Right. All right. Since you didn't get to head up this segment, Emil, go ahead and take the honors with the next one if you'd like.
I don't want to head up this shit. I don't give
a
fuck.
Great. Let me do it again. So Sami Zayn beat Ludwig Kaiser, and I gotta ask: is Sami Zayn versus Gunther happening at Bad Blood?
I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
No, we
have our card. We have our card.
We have our card filled, don't we? Yeah.
There's rumors that it may be a last minute addition, maybe next week on Raw or day of the show. And it also could be that
tomorrow.
Next week is tomorrow, and day of the show is
correct.
6 days
I'm
from
speaking
today.
in perspective of this Raw, actually. But tomorrow. And also, there's no world title match on the pay-per-view. There's no men's singles title match on this pay-per-view, which is great. I love it. I think it's great. I don't think it needs to be done, but some people are saying it should be added because of that fact.
Yeah.
There's too much story going on. We can't just throw a world title match on here just to throw a world title match on.
Agreed.
That too, the other problem I see is you throw that title match into the card, no one is going to care as much because everyone is too transfixed on the other world title that isn't even being defended, but it's being held by the guy who is tagging with the guy he beat, who are the two biggest stars in the company. Like
And
the
yeah,
tag,
cool.
at the end of the day, the tag match would just easily it overshadows if there was a world title match there, like a world heavyweight title match there.
Saudi. We have Saudi.
Yeah,
We
do
have a
that
Saudi
Saudi.
stop.
We have Saudi. We have Raw as well. We could do it on Raw if we're going to keep up this whole thing of Raw having big matches.
Well, I don't think we're putting world title matches on Raw. I don't foresee that.
It could happen.
I don't foresee that.
Roman defended against Riddle on a random episode of SmackDown.
That was in like 2021.
That happens, though. Just because it
It was
happened a
like
few years
COVID
ago.
had just stopped.
Come on, they have world title matches
Didn't Roman
on
also
Raw.
defend against Rey Mysterio on a random episode of SmackDown?
Probably.
Yeah.
Also, probably COVID had just stopped.
Yeah.
No.
They had some dates.
I think
had to
that
fix
might have been
because of the
still
COVID.
during the Thunderdome era.
They had some dates that they had to fix.
Yeah.
I'm dead. Speaking of big matches on Raw, we had Braun Strowman attack Bronson Reed before his match with The Miz, which set up a last monster standing match for next week's Raw between Bronson and Braun.
I'm going to refer my comments to the last episode
Agreed.
where I could not care less.
They keep attacking each other and nothing's really happening.
Does TNA own the rights to the name Monsters Ball match?
Monsters Balls?
Monsters Balls
Yes.
match? Do they own the rights to that? Because if
They
they,
own the
don't,
Monsters
what?
Balls. No,
Wait, what?
Monsters Ball is a match that Abyss had came up with in TNA, and I
TNA.
forget the exact rules.
It's
some
like-
kind of ladder match thing.
it's not even the ladder match. It's basically a hardcore match, but the catch was the competitors are like locked in a room the night before with no sleep and basically go insane, and then they have to wrestle like that.
What?
Yeah,
I didn't know that was the part of it.
That's cracked.
a little.
I'd rather that than whatever this is. I don't care.
I mean, we have Joseph Parks in WWE
Yeah, Abyss
too,
is
so
a
you would
producer
think if he
for-
owned it,
who?
Joseph Parks. That's Abyss. He's a producer in WWE now, an agent.
Oh, well,
Yeah.
good for him.
But anyway,
Glad he's getting paid.
so this also got Miz pretty frustrated. He's been trying to fight Bronson Reed the last couple weeks for why he's fought Bronson before and got cooked. But he really wanted this match with Bronson the last couple of weeks that Braun kept messing up for him. So he teased a change backstage. I forget what he was like an interview or something where it was like, the Miz needs a change. So he's probably going to turn heel. That's for the best. He's a better heel than a face. He's felt directionless. This guy's a former WWE champion, and he's been R-Truth's handler. Like, not great. Drew.
I mean, what else? What else does he need to do? I'm
Right.
sorry.
No, you're good. Like, what else is Miz gonna do? I'm with you.
He's a double Grand Slam champion. Like my man's.
He's
worked.
a solid opponent for Jey Uso for the Intercontinental title.
Nice
Miz
little
and Jey,
feud.
heel Miz. I'm down.
Nice little feud.
Jumping over to what should be the main event feud for Bad Blood. It might not be because reasons. Drew McIntyre cut a promo in response to CM Punk. Nothing to write home about here. It was a good promo. Drew always cuts good promos, but it didn't really do anything to advance the story. It was basically just CM Punk, I'm gonna kick your ass. All right.
Hockey fight next week.
Hockey fight.
Yeah,
next
pretty
week.
much. I think at this point you can't really further any more tensions in that story, leading it like unless you do I don't know like fucking the only way you could really further this besides them just cutting promos on each other is if they pull like a Hangman Swerve feud where like Drew burns down the city of Chicago or something.
Whoa.
Or like
How do we
burns down
CGI
Scotland.
that one?
Yeah, except or like Punk like burns the Scottish flag. I don't know, right? Like
Wow.
it's
I don't
how
see
else
that. I
are you
don't see
supposed to
Punk
like?
doing
This is
that.
the biggest blood feud right now in the company, right? And if you want to really like amp it up, you kind of got to go the extra mile. Now, I'm not saying they should go full Hangman Swerve because that shit was insane, and no one should ever do that again. But they're probably gonna like another promo's gonna get cut tomorrow night, probably by Punk, and then Drew's gonna come out, and they're gonna be like
face-to-face is scheduled, I believe.
Oh, is there a face to face? Okay, so yeah, it's the fucking WWE. There's gonna like a scrap is gonna come out of that, right? So
It's going to be some trolling. It's going to be a little hockey fighting. It's going to be a good time. No one's trying to get hurt.
yeah,
For the
no
love of
one,
God,
no
please
one wants to
get
do
hurt.
it. Yeah, please,
Exactly.
no.
Please don't get hurt.
Exactly.
6 days before the best match of your fucking
Jesus.
year.
Yep.
Please don't get hurt.
Another minor story note, in a different story, backstage exchange between LWO and Kofi and Xavier. They apologized for the previous week miscommunication where Kofi told them to come out and help them, and Xavier got mad that they did. And Xavier got pissed at Ray and snapped at Rey Mysterio. And so next week, Ray said, I had a match with Finn Balor next week, but fuck Finn Balor. I'm going to wrestle you next week now instead. So Rey Mysterio versus Xavier Woods is set up for next week, furthering this whole Xavier Woods heel turn story. I'm intrigued, actually.
I was gonna say, wait, this is cooking. Wait, this
you know what? All it took was to get the worst part of the story out of it. And I'm not going to acknowledge the other worst part of the story, Karrion Kross. All you had to do was get Karrion out of the story.
I forgot that was a whole thing.
Yeah, I was like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Yep.
I saw this on screen. I was like, wait a minute.
This started with Karrion.
I was like, actually, this is kind of cooking.
Karrion was right, but he also was not entertaining. So
Karrion was not the guy to say it.
No.
That's
Right.
all.
No.
He's right. I just didn't want to hear it from him.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
And he also got into Miz's ear in the last couple of weeks as well. So he's also
Which nobody
turning the
wanted
Miz
that.
heel. So now we're gonna build to the final testament, adding the Miz and Xavier Woods to the faction. Let's fucking
No,
get it.
no.
It's
No
not
one
happening.
said all that.
No one did
said
say-
all that. What
Come
we
on,
did
it was a
say,
joke.
though,
Let me laugh. Let me meme.
what
Let
we
me clown.
did say though is that Karrion Kross, what is he like he tries to like say he's like the bringer of death or some fucking
I have no idea. The Harbinger of Doom.
The Harbinger of
Wasn't that
Doom
him?
or some shit like that.
is that him?
I don't know who that is.
Something.
I don't know who it is.
So
He's-
fact check me. Anyway, he's dooming all the tag teams. Miz, New Day, maybe LWO.
Is his plan to whittle the tag division down to his boys?
Take them all out, make them all kill each other instead, and just go for the belts. It's honestly smart. I hate it, but it's smart.
The
Yes, question in
Herald
the
of
class.
Doomsday. That's what it is.
Ah. Ew.
Yes.
No, it's kind of lit.
No, it's not.
The Herald of Doomsday.
No, it is lit. It's just
It
the fact
is-
that it's Karrion Kross.
It is,
It's like,
wrong
no,
man.
that's the problem.
Yeah.
It's lit. It's just on the wrong person. Like if you put that on Damian Priest, yes.
Yo, honestly, I could see
Damian
that.
Priest right now is all fun and enjoyable.
You can still put it on him for-
He's all fun and
all
enjoyable to be
fun,
around right
yeah.
now.
Yeah, man. So that's
Talking
that's
about Wepa and shit.
so that's all the notes I have for Raw. But one thing I missed when we were talking about, I was too busy drooling over a shark cage. There's talks about a particular scenario to play out at Bad Blood with Rhea and Liv, and I want to get y'all's take on it. So obviously Dom is the big factor in how Liv would have helped to retain the title, right? And he's now being suspended above the ring in a shark cage, right? So people are like, okay, so logically you would think, okay, anything that would help Liv is now out of the picture because Dom is above the ring in a shark cage, right? Wrong, because some people on the internet are speculating that Raquel Rodriguez will make her return, former tag partner of Liv Morgan, and help Liv retain the title. And it sets up a dynamic of almost Diesel and Shawn Michaels with Liv and Raquel. Have Raquel be the enforcer bodyguard, have another layer for Rhea to get through, so it kind of buys us more time to get this Rhea-Liv match and finally get the blow-off of Rhea winning the title back. I'm down.
We're stalling.
I'm down.
Yes, we're stalling.
I am with him. We are
I'm
stalling is what we're doing.
Why are
we
y'all
are
so
stalling.
negative, bruh?
That's not negative. That's
not-
just what it is.
Yeah.
Like
It
look
kinda sounds
through-
lit.
Look at this. Look at the story and understand. So this is like when you're watching a TV show from like 2005, and it had to have 23 episodes a season. It had to go from October to May, and we're in episode 14. We can't do anything yet. We can't get to the end of the story yet because the end of the story happens in 3 parts at the end at episode 20.
Yeah.
However, we have to somehow get through some bullshit to get to episode 20. This is where we're at right now. We're in episode 14.
We're getting to the point where, like, if it's like even like with a TV show or like with anime, for example, we're getting to the point where it's a filler
We're on
arc,
a
but the
side
filler
quest.
arc is almost kind of related to the main plot, but it's like starting to become a little too filler, and you're like, where the fuck? What happened to the actual plot? And then we get to the end of the plot, and you're like, there it was.
I don't hate it though. I don't hate it for Raquel because I do miss Raquel.
I do miss
like
Raquel Rodriguez,
I
yeah.
actually do really like Raquel. Her name came up somewhere. I saw some clip or something, and I was like, oh yeah,
Yeah.
where are you right now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
She has a skin condition. I forget what exactly it is,
I
but
remember.
it's
I
been
remember.
very,
She
very
came on-
bad.
She came on Raw the one day, and I was like, oh yeah. So,
Yeah.
But that let's just call this like it is. This is a filler arc. We're killing time because we don't want to do it now. We don't want to do it this year. We want to either do it at the Rumble or, God forbid, we hold this all the way till 41 in Vegas. I don't really want to wait that long.
I'm intrigued by it though, because what it can do is a lot. I think that Liv is a great single star for sure, but once Rhea wins back the title, there's no shot that Liv is taking it back anytime soon, in my opinion. So at that point, you now have Raquel in the fold. You reunite them as a tag team, and now you have a tag team to help carry the tag division a little further. You have a team to go after Bianca and Jade, and that could, if they're still champions at that point, and if not, hell, have Liv and Raquel take the titles off Bianca and Jade to set up their split.
I was gonna say that you also have something that pads both of them for the future as well, because that's just a built-in feud right there too. I mean, there's history already. They've been champs before. B, you could do the whole Raquel Liv forgot about me, left me, whatever, blah 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 blah. Like there's things to do there anyway. So I get it.
Yeah,
Raquel coming back now seems like we're just killing time.
I mean, I'm down for it though, because then it also becomes you don't have a dynamic like that in the rest of the women's division. The closest thing I would equate it to is Nia and Tiffany, but it's the opposite, right?
Tiffany,
Nia doesn't need the backup.
Like each other.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, Nia doesn't need the backup, but Tiffany's there, right?
Well,
whereas this time, Liv arguably would need the backup because she's smaller in stature, she's more of a scrappy heel, and now you have an enforcer type to be her protector, be the bodyguard. I could see in the Royal Rumble, Liv trying to win the Rumble and get her spot against Rhea, who is at the time the champion again. She wants a rematch with Liv at Mania 41, and Raquel is just tossing people over the ropes for her to clear the way. I could see that being a thing.
That could be a thing too. The other thing to think about is we're getting to Bad Blood is next week, or 6 days from now at the time of recording this. And the next PLE we have after that is Crown Jewel, and then it's Survivor Series, right? Is that what it is? Is it Crown Jewel? Whichever.
It's Crown Jewel and then Survivor Series.
Whatever fucking Saudi show it is. Crown Jewel. There we go. Thank you, Ty. And then we have Survivor Series. Now, Survivor Series, every year since War Games was reintroduced, there's always been a men and a women's War Games match. Who is to say that the women's War Games match is not a Team Liv versus a Team Rhea?
I could see Rhea with damage control, since they're now faces.
Yeah.
Against
Liv, Raquel,
and
like the Pure Fusion Collective.
Yo, honestly,
whatever they're called.
I think you found it. I think you got it.
I think so, right?
I think they're building PFC, even though people don't like them. I like them, but I don't like the name. That's the only thing I don't like about them.
I hate the name.
I don't like any of it.
Yeah, it's
But it seems like they're putting effort into it, so
they're trying.
That's a thing.
They really are trying. I will give.
They could not.
Like golf clap. I will give them that for trying.
It sucks because
they could not.
Like they already had Shayna and Zoe together. That was a no-brainer, and then adding Sonya was also a no-brainer, right? But I think the name really just ruined every chance it had of being successful.
What we are seeing in front of us is everything we had hoped for with the three particular individuals involved in this faction. However, the packaging of the faction, we all went, what the fuck is that thing? We don't like that thing. What is
Shoot your shot!
And then they tell you, this is in this package. Oh, well, we like what's inside the thing, but we do not like the outer thing. Like,
I think I lost the plot there, but keep cooking.
You know the whole idea of
like it's got a lot of layers.
Yeah. The whole idea of like make a good first impression. Yeah, the name doesn't make a good first impression.
It did not make good first impressions, or second, or thirds.
Yeah,
for me. So
it feels like an oxymoron. Like I feel like it just that's a gripe I have with Triple H team names, is that it feels like he went on Google and typed wrestling stable name generator and just like picked the first one that looked good.
We did this joke already. We said that he put him in the Wu-Tang name generator, like Childish Gambino.
Bro, it's that
we did this joke already.
I don't care. I'm saying it again. It's New Catch Republic, like shit like that. I don't like these names. I really don't.
At least they have team names.
Yeah, that's fair.
At least they're proper names.
Beggars can't be choosers.
At least they are actual like names and not just like a one-word thing like, retribution.
Sanity.
Whatever that one is.
Speaking of teams returning with new names, they teased a Viking rune on the screen, and the each of the letters it's a different name for each of the runes translate to WAR. The War Raiders are back.
I'm so happy they're going to be the War Raiders again.
I love know. Assassin's Creed Valhalla.
Shut up, bro. You're not funny.
There are some days.
Bro's out here clowning so hard.
I really do wish there was a world where they could go back to being War Machine, but I'll take War Raiders.
They can't, because
there's an MMA fighter with that nickname who did very bad things. I think that is the
There's
reason.
also a superhero called War Machine.
Well,
No, no, no.
To,
That's the Iron Patriot to you.
uh,
no, he's still War Machine.
he is still War
That's
Machine.
Rhodey to you.
It is
Colonel
Rhodey.
James, yeah.
Which Rhodey?
Which
though, is the
Rhodey?
question.
That's true. The Skrull or
the-
not.
The
I was gonna
scroll,
say spoilers, but it's been
or the
long
other
enough.
guy.
It's been long enough. If you haven't caught up with MCU by now, you should have.
It's okay. It's impossible to catch up with this man. But yeah, so like.
So on the other
Warriors
side,
come back.
speaking of teams on the other side, we have RKO.
Yeah.
Team RKO. So, Randy Orton surprise opens SmackDown up, and he's like, "I need an explanation, Cody, because this is fucking stupid. What are you doing with Roman Reigns? What are you doing with that boy?" It's like a father like telling his daughter, "What are you doing running around with that boy? He's a troublemaker. What are you doing?" So Cody comes out. He's like, "I'm sorry, Dad," and is like, "Listen, I can explain."
Definitely the energy. That was definitely the energy.
Right? It really was. So, in the end of it, Cody's like, "I hope you understand where I'm coming from." Like, and I didn't really get an explanation. It was just like, it needed to be done. I hope you understand where I'm coming from. And Orton's just like, "Okay, Cody," and shakes his hand. Now, Kevin Owens comes out, and the whole running joke was that KO hasn't been given the opportunity to publicly comment about this whole scenario with Cody and Roman, and he clearly has thoughts because he was watching the face-to-face in the football field, and we all had feelings from that. So clearly KO had something to say, and he never got it off his chest. And once again, the bloodline interrupt him again before he can explain himself. A whole bunch of talking is happening. It sets up Solo and Jacob Fatu in a tag team match against Randy Orton and Kevin Owens. And what's interesting about it is Cody's like, "We can have a 6-man. There's 3 of us." And then KO's like, yeah, that's great and all, but like, shut the fuck up, stay out of this. So KO basically says, "You have your match at Bad Blood, leave it to Randy and I, and also stay in your locker room, stay out of here, stay out of the match, don't come out." And then this was in the middle of the show backstage. Cody's like, "Listen, I know we haven't talked, we need to talk." And KO's like, "Dude, I'm literally about to prepare for this match and putting my gear on. I can't talk about this right now." And Cody's like, "Well, no, we're talking about it." And Kevin's like, "No, we're fucking not. So, yeah, I'm going to go put my gear on. Randy, go deal with this schlub." So then Orton's like, "Listen, he said he doesn't want you out there. I want you out there if we're in trouble. I'll talk to Kev and I'll clear it up." So the match is happening, and Jacob and the Tongans come out to interfere to help Jacob and Solo. It's a whole clusterfuck shenanigans where Fatu tosses Cody into the ring, and it knocks the referee down at a point where KO looked like he would have had the win. So to KO, it looks like Cody took out the ref to interfere. He's pissed at Cody, and Solo and Jacob Fatu get the win. And it ends the show with Orton, Cody, and KO in the ring, and KO's all up in Cody's face. He's shoving him, yelling at him, and Randy has to kind of play peacemaker between the two sides. The show ends with KO and Cody hugging it out, but it almost looked for a second like they couldn't, like they were about to blow up. So, interesting stuff, I suppose.
I want this story to go further. As much as I think people don't want the whole, like, they're going to turn on him eventually, right? That's kind of like part of the reason why people don't want it is because we know how it's going to go. Like, we know what direction this is going. But I want this to keep going for one reason only, because I thought about this, I don't know why, as you were talking about this whole segment. Every major character, at some point, especially when titles are involved and whatnot, right? But major characters all have their boogeyman, right? And that boogeyman gets in the way of their relationships with other wrestlers, in segments or in teams or like that they're friends with, so to speak, right? And Cody's friendship, if you will, with KO and Randy is getting a little hampered by his, you can't call it obsession, but almost distraction from the bloodline. And Cody could have just said, "No, I'm not going to deal with this," right? Like, I'm done dealing with the bloodline, which he did. But then he inevitably decided to, deal with the bloodline again. He can't stop chasing the bloodline because it just bothers him like that. It's like Roman with the Shield breakup. It's like Shawn Michaels with The Undertaker. Where this character becomes so obsessed with this boogeyman that it takes away everything from them. Shawn Michaels is my favorite example. When after 25 happened, he comes back. You know the whole thing. Went on a tag title run. I don't know if y'all remember that at like the end of 2009. And Shawn was so obsessed with The Undertaker, they lost the tag titles because of it. And then Shawn gets further and further and further obsessed with The Undertaker to the point where everyone around him is like, Shawn, we're not going to help you because you've lost your fucking mind. And now we're getting to this point with Cody Rhodes where, you know, Randy and KO are hoping, hey, Cody, you're our friend. We hope you got our back. But you're getting so fucking obsessed with the fact that Roman Reigns is back weekly. And now you have to work with him to beat the Bloodline, this group that you said you were done with. Can we actually trust you to help us right now? Or are you going to run off into the distance because you're too busy trying to fight off the Bloodline? It's interesting. Like I said, I want to see this play out further and just see where it goes. Now, we know the inevitable chances are KO and Randy turn on him, but I do want to see where that carries on after the fact.
So this is a lot of hoop. This is a lot of hoopla. This is a lot of hoopla for me. So, number one, Randy Orton talking about trust and being friends with people should never be taken very seriously. Let's just look at Randy Orton's history and leave it at that, right? Like, I think that. So the whole time Randy Orton's sitting there, I'm like, aren't you Randy fucking Orton? Like, what are you talking about? Like, don't talk to me about wanting to trust somebody. Cool, we're cool. KO's being this kind of weird, whiny, whatever. Like I'm getting lost in the sauce a little bit with this whole story. I want to believe. I mean, we're looking like this is the War Games squad right here, right? That's kind of where it looks like we're going, because inevitably some shenanigans are going to happen in this original tag match, which brings all four of them into the ring together. Rollins is nowhere to be found, which is also super interesting. I am still very much over this whole Bloodline thing at this point. Solo sounded so lazy on the microphone. Like
I thought that too. I noticed that too.
I don't know what's going on with him. I don't know. Like, is he okay? He didn't look.
I think it was because he was. I think it's part of the character. I think he's supposed to be embarrassed and ashamed that he didn't beat Cody in the steel cage because he didn't. He wasn't on SmackDown last week after he lost that match.
So like, no one in that Bloodline is looking real hot right now, except for Jacob Fatu. So
Tongaloa always looks good.
I'm over it. This little 6-man tag thing. You're telling me KO can't just look at the Tron and look at the replay? Like and the man who is so fucking logical and the man who literally breaks the fourth wall can't go, can I see the replay, please?
No, you're forgetting though. He didn't want Cody to come out at all. The fact that Cody was out there, period, is what pisses Kevin Owens off.
Ugh.
He told Cody he didn't want him out.
Yawn.
When Cody came out.
This is the drama that I don't like. I like the drama from last week on the football field. That's what I like.
I like this. I just think that
everyone looks like a whiny bitch.
No, not really. Kevin hasn't had an opportunity.
That's my theme this week.
I think it's just how you want it to look in your own mind, because Kevin hasn't said a word. He's pissed at Cody because he's working with somebody that Kevin Owens has a bitter rivalry with. Kevin Owens is one of Roman's biggest rivals to come out of Roman's title reign and Reign of Terror. KO is the constant, and he's fought the Bloodline multiple times during that run by Roman.
What?
So to me, it just kind of looks like it just looks like KO just wants Cody to explain it, and he's hesitant to trust Roman. And I think eventually we'll get to a point where they're in a lot of danger. Maybe they're all getting jumped by the Bloodline, and maybe Roman makes the save, and that kind of earns their trust for a little while, but they're still skeptical. I think the blow-off here happens at War Games, where Randy or KO and or Randy turns, because I think KO definitely turns. I think Randy could potentially also walk out with KO, and I think the Bloodline win at War Games.
There's an interesting theory that I saw on the internet that I sent to both of you. That was everybody turns on Cody. Where last year Cody had all the squad, right? He had Jay, he had
Sammy, KO, LA Knight, KO, Randy,
and now everybody's Now, not
Seth.
only is everybody gunning for him, everybody's turning on him, which I really like. It's a champion who's now alone, and a man who thought he had all these friends, and now he's alone. And this is again,
Yeah.
the goal is Cody Lander. That's the goal for that.
I'm thinking more and more we get to that point, because the championship reign that Cody won, when Cody won the title, this has become about how Cody, because Cody's never been a world champion before, like in a major company. He's been a world champion in other companies, but in the big leagues, this is his first time as world champion. This is still a learning experience for Cody. This is still a journey for Cody, learning about who he is when he is the champion. And this is about Cody learning that when you are champion, you don't have friends. There's no such thing as friends. No one is there to watch your back. And so I'm looking forward to seeing video packages where Cody is like, I had everybody in my life by my side at WrestleMania 40, and now I have no one. They cut like the side by side of like they start with everyone holding up Cody in the ring, and then one like KO turns on him, and AJ Styles turns on him, and then KO and Randy turn on him, and then it's like, and now I have nothing. And then Seth, and I think eventually we do get Cody and Seth for the title, but that's to come. But yeah, I think that'd be great.
Favorite thing I have seen on Twitter or the internet in general regarding Cody and his title reign, and the inevitable heel turn. We know it's coming. We just don't know when, right? How we're going to do it, we don't know. That's for later. Let him be the top babyface in the company, and then we'll figure it out from there. My favorite thing I ever saw, I think from any former wrestler, Bully Ray on Busted Open Radio, maybe I think like a month or so after Cody had won the title at Mania 40 earlier this year rather, was talking about Cody's character development and the way Cody's moving as a babyface, and people betraying him all the time. And he says something that is it's a Star Wars analogy. He's not Luke Skywalker in this story. He's not. He's Anakin. He's fucking Anakin Skywalker.
Absolutely, he's not Luke Skywalker. Oh, yeah.
100%. The way he was built up, the way he wins the title, he gets the big one, he beats the big evil, and everyone's going, "That's our Luke Skywalker." It's the end of Return of the Jedi. Luke does the thing, and everyone's celebrating, and we're like, "Hooray! The Empire's been defeated." No. The Empire's been defeated. But it wasn't defeated by this Luke Skywalker. No, ladies and gentlemen. This Cody Rhodes, it's very much the Anakin in the story. How he eventually turns, much like Anakin did to the dark side, that's for later. But we're slowly creeping up. I mentioned this on the podcast last week, and I've mentioned this over the last little while. Every time we see Black Suit Cody, we're getting closer. We are getting closer and closer and closer. We're still
Where
a
was
ways
his jacket
away
this week?
Yeah. And we're still a ways away from it. But it is.
Why is that important?
It's mad.
It is.
If we're gonna
Cody wears suits without the jacket sometimes. He comes out with the best.
If we're gonna follow the Sam Roberts rules of engagement, we're watching the product. I don't see Cody coming out for the first part of the promo, right? Not a run-in. This is just him coming out for the promo. I don't see him doing that without all the pieces.
Something you do notice is I think
he's come out without a jacket before.
Has he?
He has, but a lot of the times when he cuts his promos,
he had the dark red suit on, which is both.
It's like a reddish brown.
The WWE, two of his best WWE promos, though.
No. But yeah, we're inching closer and closer, and like I said, we are still very much a ways away. But we're getting closer to Codelander, the Anakin Skywalker turn to the dark side, where he has all the power in the world. He is the strongest force in the WWE universe. But he has nothing left around him. It's just him.
But for what?
Right? We're getting there.
I will say, so I'm still hesitant to believe it's a full-on heel turn. I think it is his story.
No, it's literally going to be Homelander.
It will be Homelander. Yeah, it's fair to
define it. Homelander.
Define it. Will he be a heel?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. I don't know if that is what. I don't think he's going to be.
But he's going to think he's the hero.
Yeah.
I still don't think that's the case. I still don't think that's where they go with it.
Being an anti-hero.
Bruh.
I still don't think that's where they go with it.
It has to be.
I don't think it does.
He's not going to just be this heel. He's not. I
Well,
don't see
no,
that.
I'm not saying he's gonna be. I don't think he's gonna be booed by the crowd. Period. I don't think he's gonna go against baby faces. The only one would be the Roman rematch. That would be the only exception.
Yes,
I just don't see it happening.
However,
I see him going against
I
babyfaces.
fully see it. 'Cause
Look at that man. Look at that man. That man looks like a menace. Look at that tattoo, bro.
Cody.
This
is-
man, he's too
Fucking
big.
hair. Look at this man.
first
He's the John
time-
Cena of this
Look at the
generation.
trench coat that he puts on in the win winner.
Yeah. Let me get to this stuff. This is the first time. Speaking of, you're talking about how Cody is. This is his first time being like a world champion in a major company. Right, like he held the Ring of Honor title before. He's been the NWA World Heavyweight Champion before. Yawn. But in every promotion he was in, between when he left WWE and when he came back, New Japan, Ring of Honor, NWA, TNA, WCPW. Cody has never been a babyface in any of those. He has never been a clean-cut, fucking blue-collar babyface in any run he had during his time away from the WWE. Now he's the babyface. And he's going, yeah, I'm the guy, I'm the man, look at me, I've got my suits and everything. Cody, you're forgetting something.
It's almost pompous.
It's almost pompous. Cody, you're forgetting something. Everyone that knows about your journey so far knows that, yeah, you're wearing your suits now, but why'd you start wearing the suits? It was his heel run.
It's the American nightmare.
Lest we forget, his first major run outside of the WWE was as a heel when he was announced that he was joining the Bullet Club, the biggest heel faction in the world in wrestling at that time. And he just kept going. When the Bullet Club Civil War, the first one, happened with the Elite, what was Cody in that? He was a heel in all of that. Yeah, the Elite were also a heel, but it was Cody setting up and putting together all the cogs of that Civil War, turning everyone against Kenny Omega, right? And then he leaves New Japan. Then he's doing Ring of Honor. What's he doing in Ring of Honor? He's fucking with everyone there. He's gone from Ring of Honor. What's he doing in NWA? He has his match with Nick Aldis for the world title. He's fucking with everyone there. Remember that he had a match at All In, that very first All In, the indie show, the original independent All In, for the title with Nick Aldis, going in as the heel.
Let me put it this way. How many casuals do you talk wrestling with these days?
Fair few.
So when you show them Cody, they're like, "Yo, that guy's a menace."
Mm-hmm.
He just looks like a menace. That's what I always hear. Like if you just off look, people are like, "That's the bad guy, right?" That has to be. They're I've had multiple casuals.
The beach blonde hair,
like
the
that.
neck tattoo, the fact that he always wears suits to the ring, the way he looks even, the way he walks to the ring, he's got a swagger to him, but the swagger screams, that has to be the bad guy.
Absolutely.
You are the first and only two people I've ever heard say that in this recent WWE run. This guy makes too much money in the role as the top babyface of the company.
We know he
I
does.
don't
That's
give a
fine.
fuck.
However, WWE now is tapping into a lot of history of wrestlers' past and whatnot. At the end of the day, Cody's past
Is a heel.
Is a heel. He was always a heel. He just happened to come back and be the big... Like, no, here, don't get me wrong. Great. Congrats. He's the biggest fucking babyface we've had since Cena, right? He's making the company a ton of money. We know he's making the company a ton of money. Everyone fucking knows that, right?
And he needs to continue to make the company a ton of money.
And that's great. And he will. He will. Because then he can play into that as a heel.
Hold on, because there's a point there, Tyler. The WWE isn't relying on the Cody Rhodes name. The WWE relies on the WWE brand to make money, not Cody Rhodes.
Right, so they don't rely on Cody Rhodes or his backstory. Thank you very much. He will stay a babyface. Glad I got my words in.
What?
Yeah.
Huh?
You just said it doesn't rely on Cody Rhodes. It relies on WWE as a brand. So why would they rely on Cody's
So then
backstory?
it's fine to turn heel.
But you just said that because he makes so much money, like he's Hulk Hogan, like Hulk
for the
Hogan,
WWE brand,
like he's Hulk Hogan.
Yeah.
No. But Cody Rhodes isn't Hulk Hogan. He's not.
Cody is staying a babyface. That's just like
well, Hulk Hogan also didn't stay a babyface.
I don't
that's
see.
Not the point.
I just don't see Cody being a heel.
I think that money logic is a terrible logic. It's terrible logic. I think that's terrible business logic.
Did you think it was terrible when Cena stayed face all that time?
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Cool.
Speaking of the bloodline,
Okay.
because we get into this argument a lot, so let's keep moving.
That felt
Speaking
very
of the bloodline-
one-sided, but all right, go for it. Move on.
Oh, my bad.
No, you're good. You're good.
Damn. I don't know. Do we need to talk about the bloodline?
The bloodline's in TLC 3.
Oh yeah, the WWE Tag Title division's fucking cooking.
Yeah.
For no reason at all. Like the complete opposite of the World Tag
I
Division.
think they were just bored. They're like, what do we do? Hey, we have all these tag teams. What should we do with them? What about a ladders?
Ladders, you say?
Oh, Triple H starts writing it down. He's like, what else? What else? Okay, yeah, bloodline.
Tables.
Yeah. Street
Oh,
Profits.
my.
Right, Street Profits. Yeah, okay, write that up. Who else?
I can't wait for Tonga Loa to hit a shooting star press off a ladder.
Yeah. And then they're telling Triple H in the back. They're like, hey, Triple H, we can figure this out, or you can do it yourself. And Triple H goes, you're right, DIY. And they go, wait, what? And he starts figuring out the match. This man's just cooking through random shit.
Oh, you mean Mini DX?
And you mean me?
My God.
And now here we are.
So Bloodline, DIY, Street Profits, aka Hardys, Edge and Christian, and Dudley Boys.
Who's who?
To steal Tim's point. I give
the
credit.
Street Profits of the Hardys?
I guess.
I know Dawkins. I know Tonga Loa is Jeff Hardy.
No. Settle down. So that who's DIY is ENC? No, I don't like any of this. I hate this.
I think DIY.
I'm not playing this game with
I
you
think
anymore.
DIY is the Hardys.
I think the Bloodline is probably
The Dudleys?
Yeah, because they're
They
more
have to be.
unhinged. Because
Yeah.
they're unhinged, and then the Street
I hate
Profits
all of
are. The Street Profits can't be Edge and Christian,
No.
They
That's
got it.
ugly.
I don't like
So
this.
much ugly.
but they can't be the Hardys. Oh God, what is happening? Okay,
Can the Bloodline be the Hardys?
God.
Ugh.
That's what I'm saying, dude. Tonga Loa hitting the shooting star press off the ladder, bro. That's
Tonga
what I'm
Loa
telling
is
you.
not hitting anything off a ladder. If anything, people
Well,
are
he
hitting
may.
him
He
with
may
a
just
ladder.
not-
He might.
He may attempt to hit something. He just may not hit the mark.
No.
Yeah.
What's gonna happen is the point that I made last week. Now that this match is actually official, Tonga Loa is gonna set the ladder up off center and climb up like he's gonna get the titles and reach up, but they're on the opposite side of the fucking ring. So he's like, huh? And he's trying to reach over and he can't get him because he botches everything. He's gonna botch how he sets up the ladder.
So we care, we don't care. It's funny, it's not funny,
It's gonna be great. It's gonna be a great match.
but it's fantastic.
Car crash.
Speaking of what's going to be a great match, Carmelo and Andrade have extended their series to be tied up at 3-3, and we're probably going to get the
Game
blow off
7.
to that next week. Yep,
We are
probably
going
gonna
to
get it
Game
next week.
7.
So
Refer to
beforehand,
comments last week. Run it back.
Yep. keep going.
before the
They've been
match though,
cooking.
Andrade confronts LA Knight and is like, "Listen, you didn't shake my hand. Like you show respect by shaking people's hands, you know." And LA Knight's like, "Nah, I don't do that." Yeah, and so while they're talking, Mello comes in out of nowhere and fucking destroys LA Knight with one
Yo,
hit.
he
Bro
really did
knocks him
too.
into
Like I
next-
turned away.
Bro, knocked
I was
him
listening
next
to it.
Friday, bro. I
I was
swear.
listening to it because I was like folding my laundry or something while the show was on, and I all you hear is just I was like, the fuck happened? They were just talking.
Bro
Yeah.
knocked him into next week, bro. Oh, crazy. And then Mello knocks him over, and then he looks over at Andrade. He's like, "Yeah, I got some for you too. Come see me out there." And then he goes out and makes his entrance. You know, they had a great match, another cooking match. However, LA Knight kind of ruined the match at the end of it because he went to come out to get revenge on Mello. It distracted Andrade. Mello rolls up Andrade and gets the win. And then Andrade's like, "What are you doing?" And Knight goes to be like, "Oh, you want to shake hands, huh? Huh? You want to shake hands, pal?" And goes to shake his hand. And then Andrade walks away. So there's clearly a three-way dance going on for the U.S. title on SmackDown. We're cooking. But the problem is we're burning through the two best challengers LA Knight has. And after this, what happens? We go back to Santos?
Go back to
Well,
the-
no, because we're gonna stretch this out through Survivor Series. Kevin
are.
Owens is gonna do his thing, and then you're gonna have your Kevin Owens match.
Yeah,
It's
there
true.
you go. You get
It's
it.
true.
I'm not too big
Remember,
of a
it's
fan
Triple
of,
H. We stretch things now.
Exactly. I'm not too big a fan of the fact that they ended this match on a roll up, but I kind of wish they had some kind of like stipulation for. I'm just gonna call it Game 7 because I'm just used to calling it that in the series. For Game 7, because I think back to. What was it? It was the It was the best of 7 series between. Oh wow.
Sheamus and Cesaro.
No, I'm not even thinking about that one. I'm thinking about like way back in the day. I'm thinking TNA actually. I'm thinking the best of 7 between the Bucks when they were Generation Me and the Motor City Machine Guns. They had a best of 7 series way back when. That was like a fucking banger. And it got to number 7 and they were like, all right, fuck it. We're going to make it. I think it was a TLC match or like the Full Metal Mayhem is what they call it in TNA. They did the same thing with AEW with the Elite and with the Lucha Bros and I believe it was Pac in a best of 7 series that ended up going to 7. I think they ended it in a ladder match. I kind of wish they would do that here. Now, granted, there's no titles on the line, but fuck it, just put a stipulation on match 7 between Carmelo and Andrade for fun, and just let them main event the fucking show. If it wasn't the go home SmackDown before Bad Blood, where your 2 top guys in the company are involved, have that main event. That would be fun.
Flipping and cooking and flipping and cooking.
Hell
All this
yeah.
is cooking.
Yeah.
All this is cooking.
I'm
All
into
this
it.
is cooking. And this is part of the going back to the discussion we had on the TV product. Like this is part of what keeps you tuning into SmackDown every week, because we have this high stakes best of 7 series, and clearly it was leading to a United States title opportunity, even though they both got title opportunities in the middle of it.
Which was
Interesting
weird.
stuff though. It was weird.
So
Kinda weird.
simultaneously means everything and nothing.
No, it still matters because they're still cooking, man. This is still
They're
quality
still cooking.
television
It's
every
just
time they
kinda-
That's
wrestle.
why I said everything and nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair.
It's kind of weird because like it doesn't. I don't know, the LA Knight getting involved thing and like them having a U.S. title match in between their feud doesn't derail their feud, but instead there's just a second train going, and Andrade and Carmelo are jumping from train to train, and then at some point they're gonna be on one train and go, wait, where are both trains going right now? And they're gonna. You would think they would intersect, and that's when we get 3-way. It's just gonna be a car crash and fucking, it's weird, is what I'm trying to say.
So in reference to Naomi's gear this week, someone keeps giving her the draw 4. She's pissed. And she's losing all the time. So Bayley defeats Naomi 1-on-1, sets up Nia Jax versus Bayley for the women's title at Bad Blood. And it seemed like they were teasing a heel turn with Naomi a little bit. They acknowledged the fact that she keeps losing her matches. She probably should have won this, in my opinion, but I get it, I guess. So we're running back Nia and Bayley for some reason. And Nia's pissed at Tiffany. There was a backstage segment before the match that happened where Nia grabs Tiffany by the throat and is like, if I lose my title, this is going to be very, very bad for you. And it almost made people think that Tiffany might cash in at Bad Blood. I don't think it's going to happen because Triple H likes to keep stories going for a long period of time. But it could happen. It could happen. Do we see a cash in at Bad Blood?
That's going to be a no from me, dog.
That briefcase is staying with Tiffany for as long as they possibly can.
Hard pass.
Yeah.
Great.
About time we started acknowledging this losing streak, though. About time.
Yeah.
I've been saying it since, what, June?
She was winning against Blair Davenport after that, though.
Sir.
Yawn.
It's true. She was getting wins.
Yeah.
That's
against
not what I mean.
Blair Davenport.
But the story is Naomi probably will turn on Bayley at some point. Question is when. The answer is potentially Bad Blood, because the big 3, Naomi and the women's tag champions Jade Cargill and Bianca Belair, will host Bad Blood.
Wait, what?
Yep. I believe
Why?
that's what they said.
What is that? What?
Let me double check on that, but I believe that's what they
so
said.
Metro Boomin was busy?
Oh, Bianca and Jade will host Bad Blood, not the big 3, but Bianca and Jade will host.
So Metro Boomin was busy.
I guess.
I guess, yeah.
Oh, and one last thing to talk about for SmackDown before we wrap up the weekly product here is we have another big return set up for next week's SmackDown in the form of AJ Styles. What the fuck does he do? I don't know what this man does.
That song sounded like Evil Ways, though. That was cool.
It did.
That's
what the internet was talking about.
Yeah.
I got a nice little Evil Ways throwback, which was cool.
Where's my flag? I don't know what else to do. Like,
where's? Can we bring back the old theme though?
Which one? Like his.
They don't want
first
no,
that one.
The normal AJ Styles WWE theme.
Yeah,
I
they
don't
don't-
need Born to Fly. I don't need.
We don't need
Evil Ways.
Get
Get ready to fly.
Great song. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know what he does.
I just want
Like,
his normal song.
what does he go after? Does he get? He doesn't get involved with LA Knight again, right?
They might run it back now that LA Knight has the title.
Okay, I guess. Because like you can't have him. You can't go trilogy with Cody because he's in the middle of this whole thing right now.
TBH, they probably should have sent him to Raw.
Yep,
Yeah,
I agree.
They really
Probably
should have.
sent him to Raw because everyone's entrenched in something. Who's not doing anything right now? Wish? Nope. He's a Raw guy.
Not many
Sheamus
people
is
are
busy.
not doing anything.
What is like? Is there anybody available right now?
Shinsuke hasn't been used.
No.
They're not doing that again.
Pass.
They might.
Well, sorry. Did I say again? I said they're not doing that. They never did it. So
We're 6 years
Eustace
and
trying to
one
forget.
owner too late. We're
Eustace
6
trying to
years
forget.
and one owner too late for that.
Eustace trying to forget.
we are all that too late.
I don't know, man. I don't know what he
NXT?
does. Does he feud with KO and Randy?
Send him to NXT, have him feud with
Again?
Ethan Page or Trick or something.
I could like I don't know what to do.
I don't
like
know.
he's on
Is there anyone-
SmackDown, but
Oba?
I have no clue what. No, he's on SmackDown. They've said he's on SmackDown.
Oh,
So
fuck.
I have
Fine.
no idea what he does on SmackDown. No idea.
Let me look at the WWE roster for SmackDown.
Tim's about to
I-
figure this out.
Because I truly don't know who's available right now.
There isn't anybody really available.
That's healthy?
Santos Escobar. That is the only major-ish player on SmackDown that is available.
Baron Corbin.
No, pass. They would bring him back. They wouldn't bring him back for a feud with Baron Corbin. Come on.
No. AJ
Giovanni
Styles-
Vinci.
Oh, okay. They could have brought him back for the Geo feud. Nah, I'm kidding.
No.
I'm kidding.
No.
The immediate sell for Gio.
I love Geo, bro.
Is there
I love
anyone
Gio
else?
Vinci. He
Like-
wasn't on TV this week. I was pissed.
Oh, darn.
I was pissed. That's not the person you keep off TV for
Wait,
the week.
Gallows is still employed by WWE?
Gallows and
Gallows and
have
Anderson
been-
are still employed.
They have been taking a NXT sabbatical.
Sabbatical. Have they even been on NXT?
As in, yes, they've
They
been
were,
losing to Hank.
yeah.
They've been losing to Hank and Tank.
Oh,
Do you know who Hank and Tank is, Emil?
no, I just hate the name.
Honk, honk. That's what they
Anyway.
do. So
Yeah.
bad.
I know there's
Gallows and
literally
Anderson
nothing
are
on
still Gallows and Anderson are still employed.
Yeah, there's nothing for AJ to do.
here. There's literally nobody on this roster.
Unless he's like, hey,
This roster is not up to date. Kathy Kelly is not on SmackDown.
what's that sound?
I would love Friday nights a lot more if she was on SmackDown.
That's fair. That's fair. I don't know, man. Yeah, we'll see what AJ does, but that's about all we got for weekly product, guys. Do we have any other AEW? Anything going on that's interesting? I
Fifth
saw the
anniversary
He
shows.
fucking cooked.
MVP
Yes, he
cooked.
did. MVP was great.
Him being there is the yawn. I have to explain this because I went through a whole range of emotions in about 2 minutes.
Bro
He
about to
did.
twist himself
this
into a
man actually
pretzel.
was like, what?
Bro is twisting
like,
this take into a
MVP.
pretzel.
Yeah.
I went MVP, yawn. Then I listened to the promo and I went MVP. Yes. Great promo.
It was a great promo.
Yeah, wait for him and Swerve.
Yeah, basically they're hinting to potentially MVP trying to hire Swerve to be part of this new faction thing that MVP
The
might
Hurt
be putting together.
Syndicate. SRS Sean Mossap zoomed in on the business cards and it said Hurt Syndicate on it.
Hurt Business was obviously taken already.
Yeah.
Well, taken by WWE because copyright.
Yeah. And then what were they in TNA?
The Beatdown Clan.
Beatdown Club or whatever they were called?
Beatdown
the
Clan.
Beatdown Clan. Yeah.
The
Hurt
what?
Syndicate, sure.
The Beat Down Clan.
Who is that?
MVP and Bobby Lashley and
I don't remember who else.
I don't know.
It was basically the Hurt Business before the Hurt Business.
The Beat Up
Short.
Clan.
I don't know.
That's
the promo
actually
was
really
great.
funny.
The promo was
Oh,
awesome.
Kenny King.
Kenny
And Samoa
King
Joe at
was
one
in
point.
that?
And
Oh.
Low-Key and Eric Young and Homicide and Hernandez were all in it at some point.
Oh, so
Oh,
all
we in
Brawlers. That
TNA
makes
right now?
sense. Yeah, that was TNA. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's all the
that was
Brawlers.
TNA lore.
Yeah, that makes sense. Here's the thing with the MVP. Like, I like that MVP is there. I like that he's still on VP. Great. The idea of putting him with Swerve feels like a really fun idea, and I kind of want to see it happen. But I love Prince Nana because he's like that nice comedic side to Swerve, just being the guy, right? So I want to see how this goes down. Besides that, though, what else do we have?
Danielson McGuinness happened.
Danielson McGuinness happened. That was great. It was
Good
such
for
a
Nigel,
good
man.
And Nigel, I
Good for
believe
Nigel.
they said it on commentary. Nigel said thank you as he tapped out.
Yep.
Interesting.
Great match. Great match. Nigel.
But the
still
real
got
match
it.
of the night was that tag title match, right?
Oh, that match was fucking sick. That match was nuts.
That's what I heard. I never watched.
It was
I didn't
so
watch
good.
I didn't watch Dynamite this
Elite
week.
and
It was the Bucks defending the AEW World Tag Team titles against Kyle Fletcher and William Billy Ospreay. The big story going into that, of course, was can someone take down the Bucks, right? Kyle and Will are on the same page again. They're boys, of course, they always were from like back in the Japan days. Great. This match cooked like no fucking tomorrow. It was so much fun to watch. The ending is what everyone's talking about because Kyle Fletcher is still a member of the Don Callis family. Don Callis loves screwdrivers, and I don't mean to drink. So he tells Kyle, hey, use the screwdriver on the Bucks, and that'll win you the match. Use the weapon. Use the force, Kyle. Do it. You know, he's doing the whole thing. And Kyle's like, I don't know if I want to. Will Ospreay, despite being sort of a member of the Don Callis family still, but kind of not, but kind of is, but kind of he doesn't see eye to eye with Don and his ways, tells Kyle, no, we're not using the screwdriver. If we're going to win this match, we're going to win it honestly. And Kyle's like, no, but I kind of want to use the screwdriver. And Will's like, we're not using the screwdriver, bruv. What are you doing? And long story short, they lose. And there's a bit of a disdain, if you will, between Kyle Fletcher and Will Ospreay. I think this is starting to creep more towards Will finally getting away from Don Callis. And I think this is also starting to eventually figure out who's going to challenge Will next for the international title. That's it, right?
It's going to be
Yeah.
Takeshita.
It probably is going to be Takeshita.
Indeed.
Kinda has to,
I want
right?
Takeshita to take it from him. I think he
I
deserves
kinda
it.
do. So that's
do.
going on.
I will say I do enjoy that we have kept this face and this very obvious baby face in a heel stable for this long without them turning on it. I like this.
With it being amicable as well.
Yeah.
I like this.
Yeah, it's been
It makes it
for-
seem like they're humans.
It does. Yeah, kind of does.
So are you
But-
trying to say that Will Ospreay is equivalent to Sami Zayn in this case? Because Sami was in the bloodline.
No.
I know. I'm just clowning at this point.
I had to think about it though. I was like, wait.
I know. So
Mox
Danielson
defeated
won.
Darby Allin too
Mox
to win his
defeated
title
Darby
shot.
Allin, so he now has the AEW title shot. So it'll be John Moxley versus Bryan Danielson for the AEW World Championship at Wrestle Dream, which is
And
in
Shane
Tacoma,
McMahon likes airports.
which is in Tacoma, Washington. I'm getting to that in a second because God, that photo is now burned in my mind.
Will Shane interfere in this Mox Danielson match
I don't want him
at
to.
Wrestle Dream?
I really don't want him to.
Honestly, at this point, I'm just glad they didn't do it on Wednesday, so they
Yeah,
can do whatever
same.
they
I'm
want.
glad
They can
they
do whatever
didn't
they
do it on
want.
I'm hesitant because Danielson said whoever beats him retires him.
Yeah.
But I don't think he retires yet. Or does he?
No,
Like, I don't know.
Danielson's kind of made it clear this is his last full time here.
Well, yeah, but that's what I'm saying. But like at the same time,
But you just started that.
yeah,
Yeah.
it just
It
started
just
recently.
started.
I feel like he needs a few more matches before he loses,
I
right?
know.
And like,
The other problem too is that Wrestle Dream is in Tacoma. His home. It's in Washington
Oh.
State. His home state.
oh, Moxley's winning, baby.
I think
Let's
Moxley's
go.
winning, and I'm I'm
Shane
worried.
McMahon helps
I don't
Moxley
think
win.
but
He's not
There-
going to retire, though. He's not. He's going to
I
finish
know,
the
Do they
business.
here's the question: does he go by Shane McMahon in AEW, or do they just like does it go by Shane-O or Shane O'Mac?
Shane
Like,
O'Mac.
I think it's Shane O'Mac. I don't think they use McMahon in AEW. I think that they don't use the
Oh
last
my
name.
No,
God.
Tony's petty enough. I think he'd be like, Shane, I need you to go by Shane
I-
McMahon.
I don't know if they do,
I don't know, bro.
or they just call it just Shane.
Shane.
What's his middle
What's
name?
his middle name?
Yeah,
Does he have a middle name?
that's funny. That's funny. Hang on.
What if he doesn't?
I think they
Shane
have to.
Brandon. It's Shane Brandon.
Brandon.
No. I hate it so much.
Shane Brandon.
I think
has
it has
entered-
to be. It has to be McMahon, right?
Shane
It has to
Brandon
be.
It
is
has
all
to be
elite.
McMahon. It has to be
Nah,
It
McMahon.
has to be.
Nah,
Yeah,
Shane
what-
Brandon.
No.
What an uncomfortable
Name.
move. What? It's going to be uncomfortable when it happens.
Oh,
It's going to
yeah.
be uncomfortable. It's going to
Yeah.
be weird.
Um,
It's going to be really
And
weird.
it's so
yeah.
interesting because watching the McMahon documentary has almost reaffirmed my belief that, like, yeah, Shane's definitely going to AEW, because he talks about how much he loves wrestling, and we'll get more to it in the bonus episodes. But Shane talks at length about how he loves wrestling. He loves wrestling. He wants nothing more to get involved and to be in wrestling. And right now, like, he hasn't been involved in WWE since the whole scandal that happened with Vince that got him out.
Well, we can talk about this because this isn't related to the podcast. Technically, no. They fired him after his abysmal booking of the 2022 Rumble. Abysmal booking of the 2022 Rumble.
What do you mean? I wanted Shane to win and eliminate Brock Lesnar and eliminate The Rock and Roman Reigns and everybody.
But yeah.
That's best for
The Rock
business.
was there, bro.
No.
The Rock just... So, and then I told him what you got to do is...
Yeah,
Yo,
then
Rock,
I told Shane. Win
And I
the
told
Rumble.
Shane to put himself over.
Yeah. I don't know. We can get to this in a second. I do want to talk about something with AEW before we either finish up or whatever we do, we wrap up. The 5th anniversary show is this coming Wednesday, and I know earlier I said, what do we do with Will Ospreay going into like the next international title? I forgot that he has an international title match on the 5th anniversary show against Ricochet. Anyway.
I feel like
yes.
this is deja vu. I feel like we talked about this last week.
We did, and I forgot somehow. I shockingly forgot.
oh, yes.
Anyway,
Ospreay wins. LOL.
Ospreay wins LOL. The other note, there's another match that got announced that I kind of wanna. I don't want to like go too much into because we're very much an hour and changing already. But
This is record time compared to other episodes.
This is actually record time compared to I know. Hangman Page is going to be having a match with Juice Robinson on the 50th anniversary show, and Hangman's doing his whole, like, he's become a fucking psycho crazy person, like he just wants the title back, shit, like he just wants to be the guy again, right? And Juice is just Juice. He's just killing time until Jay White gets back. There is a rumor going around that Jay White is going to be returning potentially at the 5th anniversary show, if not a little later, and he'll be returning as a babyface. Right. Which means then we'd get a babyface Jay White against Hangman Page as a feud going forward.
Me no likey. Me
no
no
likey.
likey.
There are certain people, truly, I believe, in professional wrestling, that you cannot change their, like, what side of the hero villain spectrum they're on as a character. He is not one of those people. He can be a bad guy. He was a bad guy for literally 4 years. Anyway, Jay White is also one of those people. Because Jay White as a babyface just doesn't... It feels weird.
I don't like it.
To me. Because
Yeah, it feels
everything
icky.
about him is just... He is a fucking mad guy. So it's going to be weird when he comes back. Maybe he doesn't, but...
So you said the Hangman Juice Robinson, you said the Will Ospreay Ricochet. The other thing that has been touted is Britt Baker and Serena Deeb, which is, again, a bunch of yawn.
I didn't even
But
know that was a thing.
yeah.
And I
They-
feel mad that I know it now.
They are the first two ladies, I believe, of AEW, so
Yep.
I do understand the history there. The actual concept and the actual presentation is yawn.
I think that show's also in Pittsburgh.
It is most certainly in Pittsburgh.
There you go. Britt Baker's hometown.
Woohoo.
Woohoo.
Hopefully she can redeem herself.
I was gonna say Britt needs to kind of redeem herself right now, because before she returned, it was all Britt Baker is gonna save us, and here we are, and it did not save us. I don't feel saved.
No. Britt Baker, we were all hoping, like, okay, Britt's
Anyone
going to
feel
come back,
saved?
and the women's division is going to be great in AEW again, and then she came back, and we were like, hooray! And then, like, not even a minute later, we were like, oh.
Backstage altercation.
We're rolling down the hill.
Match.
We're rolling down the hill.
What is it? Backstage altercations. Suspension.
Suspension.
Shitty match.
Yeah.
Because she has a poor attitude, and now here we are.
Yep.
Well,
So-
that's cool. That's great.
What's the little save us Y2J? What's that little thing? Change it to save us DMD.
Yo, for real.
Oh, speaking of Y2J.
Hi, guys.
Somehow,
Hi, guys.
Somehow in 2024, there's Chris Jericho news, and I hate it. I want it burned down with a fucking, like...
I want Jericho. I want Jericho to be this. I want Jericho to be this character until he retires.
So Chris
I really
Jericho...
do. This is the only Jericho character I've liked since
Chris
post
Jericho
WWE.
was in a tag match recently, teaming up with his student Big Bill, and they beat
Big ass.
Big Cass, yes, and they beat the Conglomeration, where Jericho pinned
The who?
Mark Briscoe.
Mark
And
Briscoe,
Jericho-
Orange Cassidy, Tomohiro Ishii, and Kyle O'Reilly.
Yeah.
Appreciate you, OG.
And now Chris Jericho's like, you know what? I don't just want to be the Ocho anymore. I want to be the Nueve. I want a Ring of Honor World Title match against Mark Briscoe. And I'm like, get him the fuck away from this thing now.
I'm back to
Retire.
hating Chris Jericho again.
Yeah, I'm back to hating
Back
Chris
to
Jericho.
hating him again.
I don't want to be the Ocho. I want to be the Nueve.
And just like that, I'm back to hating Chris Jericho again.
Yep.
I love it. You didn't hate the list. You didn't hate the list. You didn't. You're lying.
No, I didn't. No, I did. You must not have heard me about 2 minutes ago. I said I hate Chris Jericho since post WWE.
Fair enough.
Yeah,
You didn't hate
AEW
Le Champion. You
I
didn't hate Le
did.
Champion.
I did. I wanted Hangman from day one. I
You
wanted
didn't
Hangman.
hate Le Champion.
I
Le
did.
Champion was just the list.
Nah, I wanted Hangman from day one, man. That was
So yeah,
Le
Chris
Cha-
in my
Jericho.
opinion, that was a
Le-
stupid move.
Le
Chris-
Champion was just the
Something.
list.
It really kind of
We're
was.
different. First champion is a champion from WCW and WWE.
Details.
Details. But yeah.
A little bit of the
It-
bubbly. No,
it
you're right
just-
though. You're right though.
So yeah, Chris Jericho.
I mean, but you didn't get. But the Hangman raise you wouldn't have gotten otherwise.
Yeah,
that's.
I guess right.
It's like
we wouldn't have gotten.
It would have been like
crazy-
giving Steve Austin the title at WrestleMania
Hangman
13.
should have been an over babyface. We have him now as an over heel, and that's great. But in my
but
opinion,
at
he
the
should have been the
At the
babyface.
same time, I think the story they told of
Wow.
Hangman finally getting to the top of having to overcome his number one demon being the Elite,
and
like
himself.
who he thought was his best friends and himself, to finally get to the top. I think that was worth it at the end until he dropped the title later. But we don't. Talk
In my
about
opinion,
that
they
part.
willingly. They had all. This goes to show me that they could have pushed Hangman to be the champion way back when, but instead they decided not to and put their energy into Jericho. It was a choice of where they wanted to put their energy. They put just enough energy to make him a believable challenger, but never to be the champion and never be the top face. Now he's a top heel, and I think that just goes to show they could have done that in the very beginning. They chose not to do it.
I mean,
details.
it's like, well, no, actually, no. I'll dig into this one. I'll bite. If you just do it and then he loses afterwards, what happens? What happens? He's gonna.
I mean, every champion loses at the end of the reign,
I understand that, but
so you give
It
him a
would be-
good reign.
so you give him a good reign and then what?
And then he loses, and then he's like, then he goes on this redemption of, I was the first champion. I was never supposed to lose this thing. And then you bring him into this heel direction. And then you can get him to this point now with Swerve.
So in other words, he would be exactly where he is now. You just wanted him to win.
They could have done it a lot sooner and probably made a lot more money at a sooner point from the guy.
I
Inst-
mean,
instead-
they made their money.
I mean,
and
the thing
arguably,
is, the
Punk
thing-
could
you
still
gotta-
be there if they had Hangman be the first champion.
but
I'm
you
not
also,
going to lie.
You also have to think about like
No,
No.
Punk was still,
Yeah.
Punk was still
God.
gone.
Yeah.
Because
'Cause
Hangman
Punk-
still
Hang-
took
Hangman
liberties.
w-
Because
Hangman
Hangman
might-
still took his own
Hangman
liberties.
might have been more confident in his ability. Punk might have had more respect for him in the position he was in, knowing he was a former champion and a company guy.
Well, Punk already knew he was the company guy.
Right.
He's
but I'm
always
s-
been a company guy.
But he never
Yeah.
respected Hangman.
no.
he didn't respect
He did
him.
until he took liberties.
Nah, he didn't respect Hangman.
I think the thing with Hangman
I don't
too is
believe
like
that.
you look at.
I do.
I think nowadays I'm more inclined to say that while it would have been a good idea to give Hangman the belt at the beginning of AEW, the journey they had put him on of like, you know, again, AEW at the end of the day, when it began, revolved around the Elite. It was started by the Elite, everything. The Elite is the reason AEW exists today, right? And that was the Bucks, Kenny Omega, Cody at the time, and Hangman. But Hangman was kind of the overlooked member of the Elite for a very long time when he was in Bullet Club, when they split up and just became the Elite, and then when the Elite left New Japan, he was still the overlooked member of that whole faction, right? Because they talked about, oh, the Bucks have jumped ship, Kenny Omega jumped ship, Cody Rhodes has jumped ship. Hey, what about Hangman? Who? Oh, him. Yeah, I guess he jumped ship too. And they get to AEW. And then they have this, you know, obviously he doesn't win the title, right? I get why people were mad. I was mad when it happened. I still was for a few years, and then I kind of thought about it. And then they have him go on this, you know, this run as a tag team with Kenny of, well, they're still friends, you know, they're still part of the Elite, and the Elite stick together. They had their banger, probably the greatest tag match in AEW history, still to this day, arguably, against the Bucks for the AEW tag titles. And Kenny and Hangman win. And now they're tag champs. And they're like, yeah, you know what? We're still the elite. We can do this. They lose the elite. They lose the titles. Kenny becomes transfixed with being the belt collector and being AEW world champion. And to Hangman, he goes, that should have been me. That should have been me from the beginning. Kenny, you said you were my friend when we jumped ship. You said you were my friend when we were tag team champions. What you're doing right now should have been me. It could have been me. It should have been me. I'm not going to stop until I take that from you. And then all that lead up to that match at Full Gear, where they main event, and Hangman gets his crowning moment of he knows he has Kenny Omega dead in his sights. And he's on the apron. This is a spot I love thanks to the camera work from AEW for this moment. But he's on the apron. He's getting ready to hit the buckshot, and he looks over, and I think it's Matt Jackson is looking there, and he just gives Hangman the nod of like, do it. We know you're going to. Just end it here, right? This is where the story ends for you and us. He hits the buckshot, 1, 2, 3. Hangman finally gets to the top of the mountain. He finally gets his win over his best friends. That was the story there. And I'm glad they did it that way. And then obviously what happened after, not great with him losing the title to Punk and then the whole shenanigans, if you will. But seeing how he is now with this heel run, because he's just been transfixed of trying to be the guy again. Not necessarily world champ yet, but just trying to be the guy. When he came back in that Casino Gauntlet match to get to the Owen Hart tournament, that was his whole thing, right? He just wanted to be the guy again. He knew he had a world title match, and like in the palm of his fingertips, if he won the tournament, he just wanted to be the guy. And then he's obsessed with Swerve again. Like Swerve loses the title. The first thing he does is have another match with Hangman. Because Hangman didn't want the title at that point. He just thought, oh, Swerve's available now? He doesn't have the title? He's mine. Because he's in my way. Much like Kenny was in his way. Much like the Bucks were in his way. Much like a lot of other people are in their way. Hangman will eventually be world champion again. But I think him losing to Jericho in the first place is what we needed.
So he's Vegeta.
Pretty much.
It should have been me!
It really, yeah, except, well, yeah, kind of is Vegeta.
Or Dolph Ziggler, take a pick.
Or Dolph, yeah. Excuse me, that's TNA World Heavyweight Champion Nick Nemeth to you?
He's still champion? Good for him.
Oh, yeah, he is.
Right? Yeah,
He's thriving over there.
He is going to be defending the title, actually, at the end of October against Joe Hendry.
I can't keep track of when the TNA pay-per-views are until they're already halfway done, and I'm like, man, I have shit to do. I can't just be sitting here watching
God damn it,
this.
why now? Yeah.
Well, gentlemen, it's been a fun ride.
That has been
today.
fun.
A very uneventful week in the grand scheme of things. I feel like we talked, but I feel like we didn't. I feel like
Most
there
of
wasn't
our
a whole...
talking was about other things that didn't happen this week.
We said nothing.
We definitely opened our mouths and words came out. That's definitely how I feel about that.
Well,
it's been besides Jay.
The problem is there is still this concept of too much television right now for them. They are cutting back to 2 hours.
Yeah.
I mean, and again, 3 hours weekly, and especially with not a pay-per-view every
apparently
2.5 weeks.
SmackDown's going 3 hours as well with this small ass roster.
I can't, but we'll have a different conversation about that someday. But I just lost my whole fucking train of thought. God damn it.
Oh, I'm sorry. My bad.
Oh, no, 3 hours is too long.
Yeah.
3 hours is a lot.
There was a lot of good wrestling this week.
And there's
but
not a lot of pay-per-views either.
Not a lot of long-term storytelling. For me.
Less PLEs, same amount of TV means you got to stretch shit, which means we're doing a lot of the same shit over and over.
I would say there's the same amount of PLEs. It's about one a month, but two in November. But I would say there's the long what?
Did we have one at all in September?
PLEs?
Yeah, Bash in Berlin. It was technically Bash in Berlin. It was the very end of August.
Though. No.
But yeah, I mean, I would say there's a decent amount of time in between each one, but also at the same time, it's there's a long time between the big tent poles, right? Because we had WrestleMania, and then only like 3 months later, or 4 months later, 3 months later, we had Money in the Bank. Now 3 months later, Money in the Bank, and then another month we had SummerSlam. So 4 months till SummerSlam, and now from SummerSlam we have 5 months until Royal Rumble, almost 6 months because it's the beginning of February.
You're missing that crucial.
Well, Survivor
end of year
Series,
pay-per-view.
but I would argue Survivor Series isn't really a big story trajectory point. That I feel like it's not as big as the other big fours. It's not.
Punk came back last year.
That's it.
The Bloodline story.
That was
in
the
22.
biggest. That was the biggest thing.
The Bloodline story in 22.
It's not as big as the other big fours. You know, it's not as big as the other.
I would
big
argue
fours.
Survivor Series has been on the up and up for the last since COVID.
Oh, I'm with you. I'm definitely with you. It's always for
Yes,
me. It's
it
always
did.
been
It
it's been
did get-
WrestleMania, SummerSlam, Royal Rumble, Survivor Series, and SummerSlam and Rumble could be interchangeable in my opinion. But
We got a long way to
regardless,
go.
We
got a
long
lot
way
of
to
time
go.
and too much TV and not enough shit.
Yeah. So with that, let's talk best in wrestling. I think you know where I'm gonna go with mine. It's the fucking Shark Cage, baby. Comeback of the
Oh,
year.
yeah.
Comeback of the motherfucking year.
Oh,
We
yeah.
have a Shark Cage back. Who wants to go next?
The Vince stock.
Oof. I don't know if that's the best in wrestling. I
Dude,
feel like it's
I don't know,
detrimental
man.
to the
It's-
wrestling business.
It's actually like the most eye-opening thing.
I mean,
That's my sneak peek going into our next thing.
If that doesn't sell you, I don't know what
um,
does for him to be intrigued to this level. Go watch it.
1 second. I need to double check that this happened this week so that I make sure
while
I'm
he
not crazy.
stalls MVP.
Oh,
while he
it
stalls
did.
MVP.
MVP is a good one. It did happen this week. Stephanie Vaquer.
We forgot to even talk
We
about
forgot
it.
to talk about it.
Damn, I forgot to put that in the
Stephanie
notes.
Vaquer.
I kind of wish that they saved it though.
I
I'm not gonna lie.
know.
I wish they saved it for an
Kinda
in-person debut.
weird to do it before. Yeah,
Yeah.
like, weird. But anyway, so long story short, since somehow we fucking forgot to talk about this on NXT, because this is a way bigger deal than it was talked about. Well, I mean, it was kind of talked about, like, we kind of brushed by it. I saw it happen, and I'm like, oh my god, what? Julia and Roxanne are having their little contract signing face-off thing right before their match on the debut episode for CW, which is next week. And,
TV14, by the way.
which is TV14. That's gonna be great. They're gonna kill each other. I'm so ready. Anyway, but as you know, Julia's talking and whatnot, all of a sudden a voice appears, and they're just like, "What?" And Julia, you can see the look on her face. She goes, "Oh no, her again!" And it cuts to the Tron, and Stephanie Vaquer appears just to give them a little warning that she is coming to NXT, and you know, she's coming for that title eventually, right? Oh, the fact that it's so subtle. It was kind of awkward because like there wasn't as big of a pop as I thought there would be, but let him cook. Stephanie Vicker. So this obviously means that more than likely her U.S. work visa is cleared. So chances are we do see her show up next week. We'll see. But yeah, that's my best in wrestling is Stephanie Vicker.
And y'all, that'll do it. That was all three of our best in wrestling. That was all we had to talk about for TV. And for the last message that I have for you, it is to go to our YouTube channel, Vacant Wrestling on YouTube, and go check out the bonus episodes we're going to put up reviewing the Vince McMahon documentary, Mr. McMahon, that you can go watch on Netflix right now. And when you're done watching it, come back to this channel and come watch it. Easy way to come find us after you're done watching the Mr. McMahon doc is if you hit that subscribe button right down there on YouTube. And don't forget to follow us on TikTok as well, at Vacant Wrestling. On behalf of us to y'all, before I even say that, follow us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify as well. So you make sure you get us in audio formats as well. And now from us to y'all, thanks so much for watching this week. And have a good week. We'll see y'all very, very soon. Yeet.
Yeet.